Okay, so it's become abundantly clear to me that a lot of people think that cooking has to be some major production, and therefore, if it has to be and they have to get all these ingredients and they have to take all this time, that they might as well just go out to eat, or they might as well get a frozen dinner or a pizza or something that can be delivered or whatever. And of course, this means several things. It means that they're using up a lot of the money that they've worked really hard for just to eat, which is really ironic when you consider that originally nature gave us what we needed to eat for free, and you could hopefully you'd be living in a place where you could walk out the door and find something. And if not, you probably wouldn't live there. I mean, that's ideal, obviously, but yeah. That's how hunter-gatherers did it for a long time. So now we've come to the place where we actually put in labor, like maybe as much as half of our work week of 40 hours or more, just to eat. And part of the reason for that is not just because of how much the food costs, which is actually probably minimal compared to the added value, supposedly, in quotes, of the things that are put into it. Alexa, stop. And, like at the restaurant, the guy that makes it, the waitress who serves it, at the grocery store, everything, gosh, the people who've come up with the frozen meal, the advertisers, the packagers, the shippers, the list goes on and on. So you're paying for all that. Now I realize that gives somebody else a job, and that's the way we're supposed to think about this. But just from the purely perspective of one person, it just really doesn't make a lot of sense. It feels bad, actually, to think about people working half their lives just to eat. Now, of course, we can't walk outside of our door for the most part. We can't do that and find the food that we need. That's impractical. I mean, we could probably, but it would take too long, and it would eat up most of our lives, so then we'd be working to eat again. But you know what? You can go to the grocery store and you can get a piece of meat, if you're not a vegetarian, like I am not a vegetarian. And you can get vegetables or fruit that require no to minimal cooking, and which are way healthier than anything you could buy in a can or frozen. Anyway, so if you'd like to buy maximum life expectancy and quality of life, stay in the produce section and get some fruits and vegetables. And in order to cook a basic piece of meat, which I'm about ready to put a chicken breast on the grill here. Hear that? To cook a basic piece of meat it can be as simple as just putting it on a grill or putting it in a skillet and either waiting 10 minutes and turning it over, or putting a lid on it, waiting 5 minutes and turning it over. As far as the vegetables go, what I've got going on right now is just some kale in a skillet. I put a little bit of oil in the skillet. I put the kale in, sauteed it just a little bit, and then I put some chicken broth in that I got in a box in the grocery store, and I put the lid on it. That's all I have to do. And like, depending on how done you like it, 5 to 10 minutes, it's done. I got me a bunch of grapes that I got from the grocery store. That can be another part of my meal. And I can have my beer or my wine or whatever. If I wanted some starch, I could poke a potato and put it in my microwave. I mean, this is really not hard. The problem is it's not as instantly palatable as the eat-out meal or the frozen meal. Because when you think about it, to get to the to spend the extra time to get the frozen meal, or especially to go out to eat, you're spending more time than it would take to actually just cook it yourself. The problem is that my piece of meat and my cooking kale and my grapes are not instantly as savory and tasty as the other food. But my meal probably takes maybe, I don't know, 1 hour's worth of labor as opposed to maybe 6 to 8 hours worth of labor. It's minimal. It's very, very minimal, and it's healthier. If you're thinking about your long-term prospects for being in good shape, enjoying your life, you want to eat this way anyway. This is the way, like, the celebrities, I guess, probably eat, unless they're getting liposuction and they're getting, yeah, they're probably, just like eating whatever the hell they want and having it all sucked out. Who knows? But for the rest of us who don't want to do that and don't live that way, this is like the diet of the elite. And I just want you to think about that a bit. The diet of the elite, very simple, paleo basically, meat, vegetables, fruits, nuts, and I always throw in the occasional non-healthy thing, but I mean, there's nothing simpler. It doesn't take any time. I will have this whole meal done in like 15 minutes, and I'll be able to eat it. And you learn after a while, getting back to the point about it's not instantly palatable, that if you give it like a month and you start learning what flavors you actually enjoy, man, you will enjoy it way more. And then over time it gets to the point where you don't even want certainly fast food, because that'll make you nauseous, or even restaurant food becomes kind of like, yeah, okay, but mainly I'll do that to be going out with other people, because it just doesn't, it makes you feel like it's junk food. So those of you who think you're just going to save lots of time, or you don't want to cook, and you don't want to cook partly because it takes too long, or you don't want to cook because you don't know how, because you got to follow a recipe. No, you do not have to follow a recipe. You don't have to get that intricate about all of this. It's very simple. Cook a piece of meat, maybe give it a little bit of salt and pepper. Find yourself some sort of condiment. I like corn relish. Maybe you like ketchup, okay? Or you like A1 sauce or Worcestershire sauce, or whatever it may be. But you can put that condiment on many types of meat, and it jazzes it up a little bit, and it doesn't take any time to pour a little bit on there. You buy it in the grocery store, okay? Get yourself a vegetable. Forget about all these fancy recipes. Just saute it and steam it. And if you want to zest it up a bit, use lemon. Squeeze a little bit of lemon. Fresh lemon really is better than that lemon in a bottle, but anyway, you can use that too. And balsamic vinegar or red wine vinegar. Keep it in a bottle. Bring it out. Salt, pepper, vinegar. Salt, pepper, lemon. Pretty much does it for any sort of vegetable. A little bit of olive oil will do it too. And you just have to try. And of course, here's another thing that I love and a lot of my friends love, which is fry up a little bit of bacon before you put the veggies in. Throw in a couple pieces of bacon, and then put in your greens or your green beans or whatever it may be, really, because bacon really makes anything taste good, right? And there you go. So no more of these excuses, and I'm going to try to bring more videos out, just kind of breaking this down. So because people are losing touch with real food, and they're losing touch with making their own food, and they're just working too damn hard and too damn long just to feed themselves, and then they're trading off not only that working time for their food, but they're also basically compromising their health for their food. Now, what a deal is that? To be working for somebody else, 20 or more hours of that work, is just so that you can actually eat food that's going to make you live less long, is going to make you fatter than you would otherwise be, which is going to make you less attractive, which is going to make you not find the happiness that can come from a mate, etc., etc. It goes on and on. This is crazy. Okay? But you have to bite the bullet and deal with the fact that for about a month or two, you're going to feel virtuous, but you're going to not feel like, God, I love that stuff. All right? Like that feeling you get from eating Kentucky Fried Chicken, right? But I haven't had Kentucky Fried Chicken in, I don't know, like it's been probably 5 years. And I would like gag on Kentucky Fried Chicken at this point. I don't want it. Okay? My tastes have changed. Now, they're better, and stuff that didn't taste good before tastes good now. And you will get there, and it's sooner than you think. Like your palate just changes. Your tongue tastes new and better flavors. It's being numbed by all the salt and the sugar and the shit that's in your processed food. But it becomes sensitized again, and suddenly these foods start to taste really great. And you're like, yeah, that's why. You know, the French love all this fresh stuff, right? The French are the most sensuous people on the planet. And they love fresh food and cooking with whole foods and with good oils and butter and things like that. So anyway, I mean, you've got to say to yourself, look, I've gone through all these fad diets that I have put time and effort and willpower into. I can make this willpower change. That it's not about counting calories or anything. It's not about that. It's just about deciding that you're going to live your life so that you're not working to eat. This is America in 2016. We should not be working to eat, right? Not anybody. Because as I hope to show in the next, in however many of these I do, anybody can get the stuff that they need. In America, anybody can get the stuff that they need to eat this way. It does require more effort from some than others, but anybody can. Okay, can do better. And especially people who are less well off owe it to themselves to not let this system make them unhealthy and fat. But to be as healthy as possible, because the system is geared to put you at a disadvantage, people who are less well off. And that should make you angry. So, anyway, this kind of hopefully describes the motive behind the videos that I'm going to make. Thanks for listening. Bye.